When I was younger, I used to attend creative meetings that went like this. I would show the team a design I was quite confident about, and my creative director or my senior copywriters would say, Yoshi, that's a nice design, but that's your own view, isn't it? You need to think about the brief and be more objective and logical. My design would be dropped in an instance. Then the discussion would go on for days, sometimes weeks, and we would come back to my original design and agree on it. Wait, that's why I showed this to you in the beginning, I would say. And they would say, really? But I wasn't aware of why we would agree on the design. If you can't explain it with logic, then you can't proceed with it in business. But actually, there's a reason why you think something is beautiful, and you will be able to explain it. Here's an example. This is Pocky, one of the most popular and long-selling confectionery products in Japan. It's been on the Japanese market since half a century ago. Recently, it has been struggling in the market, especially among the younger target. The client, Ezaki Guriko, had launched a smaller size product line to win shelf space in convenience stores, but this was not a huge success, and they had to recover the investment they put in the factory line. The client brief was to design a new packaging label. I immediately thought that I wanted to avoid designing a packaging label for a product that had to fight for its shelf space in a cluttered convenience store. When you have a lot of competition, you have to make design stand out more than you really need to. Pocky is a unique and fun snack that has a handle. It's a chocolate snack with a non-chocolate part that you can hold without getting your fingers covered in chocolate. I thought this was a visually strong identity and soon came up with the package design that would convey how fun it is to just have the snack in your hand. So I started by projecting an image of Pocky's future. At this point, there is no logic or strategy about product concept or retail. We had a strong desire to create something like this. A client's normal reaction would be to say, will the product sell with such a design? Luckily, one member of the client believed in this image and they thought there was something about it, that it will work somehow, that they could emphasize with. We assumed that the new design was the image of our future and compared it with the present. We tried to dig out the problems by going back and forth between the present and the future. At first, no one believed us when we talked about the problems of the present, so we would go back to the future, compare it with the present, and then go back and repeat. I think design is a process that goes back and forth between the future and the present. It's a holistic approach and it's a strategy. Then we went through this process. We found that as long as we were developing a product for convenience stores, the product life cycle would become shorter and shorter. Even if we change the flavors or change the label, the product would stop selling well after a short while. The brand had been loved by the people for 50 years, and we wanted it to be loved for another 50 years. We found some clues and social trends of millennials and Gen Zs. They would find out about friends' birthdays, or their newborn babies, or promotion at work, or just their interests, all on social media. And they were all turning into these small gift giving occasions. These gifts were little things that could demonstrate your good taste to your friends, like lip balm or toothpaste, olive oil, salt, and stationery. There was a need for self approval through the choice of these small gifts. You couldn't achieve this in products sold at convenience stores. So we decided to take the strategy to move into the gift market. Our competitors were not other chocolate snacks. They were small gifts waiting to be selected by young people. In a way, this would help give more meaning to the Pocky brand. You also have to keep in mind that people's desire change with time, and if you build your logic without keeping the change in mind, you will land in the same place as your competitors. You will be able to create something that no one hates, but no one would really fall in love with it. So instead of trying to make it a delicious looking package, we thought about how people would want to talk about it on social media, how people would want to take a picture of it, what people would do with it, and turned Pocky into a playground that people could join in. The original product concept of Pocky is a share happiness, but we expanded the happiness to the gift giving process before you eat it. The gift receiver should be in the spotlight, so we eliminated the glamorous chocolate shot on the package and made it a neutral design, almost like a pattern for wrapping paper. We kept the family assets of Pocky like its original stick shape with the handle part, and designed all the detail that reminded you of Pocky. The top of the box with the dots are designed to imagine you're looking into a box of Pocky sticks. The bottom should have chocolate dots here, but we had to print the best before date here because that was how the factory line was fixed, so that couldn't be helped. Each flavor is designed so that when all six flavors are displayed together, they create a visual pattern. There's also some cute copywork for each flavor, like berry rolling in a daydream, or melon shines on frosty mornings, or matcha against the forest, or grapes at midnight. They are quite poetic and subtle, and designed to trigger your imagination. Inside the display box, the design continues like this. So all these details were designed for you to encounter symbols of Pocky at all sides the package. By repositioning the product as a gift, we also had to market it to different retail channels. We distributed to product to gift shops and other trendy stores. As we did so, we were able to raise the average sale per customer by more than double. So as a result, we repositioned the brand from a chocolate snack to a self-approval item that encourages people and gained a competitive edge that responds to the needs of a young target. We revived the brand asset to create a long-term engagement. We reused the factory line and helped break the product away from short product life cycles and cluttered convenience stores, and we raised the average sale per customer. In other words, it was a design solution that solved many larger business problems and transformed the business. I came up with this design right away with my instincts. When you read a brief or see a product, sometimes you can come up with the image or idea that comes directly from your instinct. or your aesthetic mind. There's something like a sixth sense where you can bring out the potential of a truly unique design. This is because the consumer calls action only when they are moved by instinct or emotion and not by any problem the brand has to solve. If you can't seem to engage the person right in front of you, think of how there might be someone out there in whole wide world who will. Design can connect one person's intuition to many others in the world. The fundamental of design are discovering the problem and solving it. Just like a lot of creative work, if you don't start from the right problem, you end up with a wrong output and don't achieve the result you wanted. You have to find the real problem that may be hidden behind the brief and sharpen your senses without any judgments getting in the way. It's a very strategic act, and you can explain it with logic. When you're young and just starting out, people may try to convince you to stick to the brief. But when I look back at my design and creative work, many of them led to the success for the business. This was not a result of a consensus, but the result of each team member doing what we each thought was best, what we each wanted to see out in the world. It is a strategy, but in the end, if you feel strong about something, your subjectivity will actually help deliver the message to the user more powerfully. And this, I think, is an important thing to think about today more than ever. Moving back to the Pocky, when you look at this project, people may think, oh, that's a pretty package you designed, because you can't see the strategy from the package. But I think this is the highest accolade for the design. In the end, the consumer buys the product with intuition. They fall in love with the brand on the spot, and the most brilliant designs melt into life and lift people's lives without them even knowing it. Thank you, and may the design be with you.